Alright, let's get started. So, I'm on my way to. I don't even know the name of it. I know that people call it Devil's Pass, but I actually don't know the official legal name of where I'm going. Someone reached out to me right now. I'm driving out of my driveway. So, someone reached out to me saying that this place, the locals, called Devil Pass, has just got decades and centuries of history to it. Googling it, of course, came up with nothing, but that's what I like, though. I like that people are just sending me stuff from their small little towns that nobody really documents or knows or mentions. It's kind of this, I feel like I'm treading, new ground. So when I get stories like this and I Google and nothing comes up, that's what actually makes me happy. I don't want these places to show up in Google because I'm like, what the hell? Someone's already talked about this. But I get to be the first to talk about this when these kind of stories come to my table, so to speak. So, let's get started on this. So, Devil's Pass, as the locals call it. I'm heading over there right now, but this lady, Maria, she was the one that reached out to me. She's in high school, and her mother and her grandmother and her aunts and tios all live in the same. They live in this big ranchero, like I think it used to be a system. Devil's Pass. Devil's Pass. There's a story she was telling me about her uncle. Drunk dude, and he would walk to the nearby bar. So you gotta understand, in like a lot of these old tiny towns, the churches were built in the middle of the towns, right? Which meant that bars could not be built within something like 5 miles or whatever of the church. Sometimes I think it's 10 miles. They couldn't be built within 10 miles of the church. So if the church is in the middle of town, you gotta leave, right? So the bars were always built on the outskirts of the town, far away from the church. Maybe it wasn't 10 miles, maybe it's a mile. I don't know, man. But regardless, they were built on the outskirts of town. And these old places, they barely got roads, they don't even have, like, working electricity and all that stuff in certain places. So, man, and if they do, God, I don't know how many times I've been to some of these places and they just don't, like, the lamps are there, but no one's, like, the bulbs went out God only knows how long, and they just never replaced them. But he would walk. So they say he would walk to the bar, he'd drink a whole bunch, and then he'd quote-unquote walk off the drunkenness on his walk back. So she's telling me this guy, her uncle, is walking down the road late at night. There's no lights. It's pitch black. And he comes across a baby crying. And so he's, like, freaking out. They're like, oh my God, there's a baby. So he's looking, he takes out his lighter, and he's looking around, and he finds the baby, right? So he picks up this baby, and he can't really see it in the light because he's not trying to get the match all up in the baby's face, So he takes out the lighter, he sees the form of the baby, and if you're like, oh God, it's not a baby, is it? Correct, it's not a baby. I'm just going to spoil that for you right now. So he takes this thing that he thinks is a baby, and he's walking down the street, and then he hears the baby say, Papa, Papa. And he looks around, and he's like, who's saying Papa? And he looks down, and he's like, is that the baby talking? And he's like, what's up, little baby? Are you talking to me? And it's like, he says this in Spanish. I'm going to say this in English, pero, mi dientes. He's like, my teeth, right? And the guy's like, yeah, like, what, your teeth? And he's like, Papa, look how sharp my teeth are. And the guy holds the lighter to the baby's, like, gets closer to the baby's face, and that's when he actually sees this baby's face. It's sucking on someone's severed finger, and its teeth are sharp like a piranha's. The guy screams bloody murder, and he chucks that baby as far as he could. Because by his standard, he said, that ain't no freaking baby. I don't know what it is, but it ain't a baby. He throws that sucker, and he runs for his life. Now, I forgot to mention this. So he wrapped the baby in his jacket. When he threw the baby, he threw his jacket with the baby, right? So he wrapped the baby in his jacket. When all that happened, he just chucked the baby, chucked the jacket and everything, right? And that's important, right? So he ran for his life, got home, drunk, sweating, cry like, oh, this happened. Everyone's like, oh, Theo's drunk again. Like, he's really hit the bottle this time. His wife's like, why do you do this? Why do you wake us up? Like, if you're gonna come back drunk, be quiet, And he's like, no, the baby, blah, blah. They're like, okay, sure, the baby. We'll look for that baby tomorrow. Because next morning, early in the morning, they get up, and he's drunk as shit, hungover, But they go out there anyways. They don't find the baby, but they find his jacket. And inside that jacket, they find a severed finger with little teeth marks on the end of it. If I'm playing roleplay right now, and I'm a devil, I'm a demon, I'm, a monster, I would go after almost exclusively drunk people. Nobody's gonna believe them, Like, if I'm trying to scare people and cause chaos and mayhem or, do whatever, like, of course I'm gonna go after drunk people. Nobody, if I'm some, like, three-eyed monster, I'm gonna jump out and go, Nobody's gonna believe him. He's gonna be like, this three-eyed monster jumped out at me, and he scared the shit out of me. Literally, I shit myself. It's gonna be, okay, Grandpa Phil, like, we get it. You're drunk, you saw a three-eyed monster, and I'm sitting there watching from the window like, dummy, nobody believes you. If you're gonna scare someone, and I don't know if this thing was a devil or a monster. They call it Devil's Pass, but it's a very Latino town, and if you don't know Latino folklore, especially Mexican folklore, everything's the devil. Everything is, I gotta say, this is one of my favorite stories. She said that there's more stories that her grandma wants to tell, but her grandma speaks Spanish, my Spanish, and más o menos, it's not so good, but she's good, the daughter's gonna translate. So I have been over there to catch some stuff. I'll try to record. She said, the thing is, look, I try to be as cordial and casual about this stuff as I can. I find a lot of times when I start recording people, they get really anxious and awkward. So I'm going to try to write everything down, record it. I don't know if I'll upload that direct audio. I tried before, and man, that didn't go well. So I might just record it myself and then summarize it. It seems to be the best way to do it. So stay tuned for that. And stay tuned for this message from our sponsors, and catch you at the next story.
Our threads are spun from ancient nightmares, our designs from etchings in forbidden lore. Cloak yourself in terror. Visit gladracket.com. We won't ask twice.